views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Silver-Gaia Academy, the journey to Gaia with Dr. Brie Gibbs. We are always evolving as part of the planet. The Silver-Gaia Academy is here to help guide you on your spiritual journey. Learn about the Gaia, the Mother of Earth, and how even our words can affect the planet and the universe. Learn the true meaning of the word goddess, what it means that we are divine beings, and so much more. We are here to help the planet raise its vibration. Will you rise to the occasion? Now here's your host, Brie.
Welcome, everyone, to Silver-Gaia Academy and the Journey to Gaia. Today I have my very special guest and friend, Pepper Lewis, author, master teacher, is joining us on the second Monday of each month to help guide and support others. Pepper and I will be discussing various different subjects. Hi, Pepper. How are you doing?
Hi, Brie. How are you doing this morning?
It's been an exciting morning for both of us, huh?
You know, Monday mornings have a certain reputation all of their own.
I'm telling you. Technical difficulties on both ends, huh? So, we're going to talk about some really neat things today, and I want to talk about the rough guide of spiritual teachers and teaching. And we're doing this in a two-part series. So can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Well, sure. You know, as I started gathering notes for this subject, I realized that I had so many and that other people had been writing to me about this subject over time as well. And I thought that it would be a good time of year to dedicate some extra time to this subject because it's a time of year where we tend to look both backwards and forwards. We're looking back over the year or over some of the decisions that we have made, the path that we have chosen, to see if we're still lined up with it. And we're looking into the future as well. I wonder what's going to happen next year, and can I make some different or better decisions, and do I need some help making some of those decisions? And that's where some of us look to subjects like personal growth, spiritual expansion, and what we can do for ourselves or with others. So it's a great time of year to explore the subject.
Right. No, I really agree with that. And the one thing that I want to urge other people to make sure that when they're looking at all of these things in ourselves and talking to people, that they have the correct person when they're working with for them, that they're always in the highest of light for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's so important. But, you know, that's actually what brings about this subject is that how do we know that that is the right person or teaching? Because we don't always call upon teachers. Sometimes, especially in this age that we're in now, there's online seminars, there's books, there's all kinds of support work. And so, and there's too much of it. If there has ever been an overabundance of this, I would say that it's now, and it's coming at us from all sides, all directions. And so how do we really know what's right for us? Sometimes we don't find out until later, till we've spent some money, till we've invested some time. So wouldn't it be great if we all had that crystal ball to know exactly what steps to take or what direction to head in?
Well, I know that's happened to me, and that I worked with some people, and I went, after I spent all the money, oh, this was so not right for me, you know. And then, so how can we make it easier for our listeners to find the right teachers for them? What would be your idea?
So first of all, I want to ask you, when you've had that moment, when you had that moment of recognizing, wow, that was not the right teacher, that was not the right teaching, what did you do after that moment?
Well, one, I let it go. I just had to let it go. Not be angry, not be frustrated, and just let it go and be happy. The other thing is that I started then digging deep inside of me and finding out, is this person right for me? And I started actually interviewing people before I started working with them.
That's great. So
That's
you learned from that experience, and you chose other experiences. And did you tell other people, wow, that was a really bad experience, or if I was you, I wouldn't go see that teacher, or don't waste your money? Did you do anything like that?
No, I will not do that to people. The reason why I'm not there to judge somebody. Their path is their path, such as yours is yours, mine is mine. I just left that alone and went and just did what I thought was right for me. If somebody had asked me about the person, I would just say it didn't resonate with me. No, I want to be kind to people.
Yes, and I agree with that. So the easiest thing we can do is say, well, that wasn't the right time for me, or that was not the right teacher. And we do tend to internalize these things and sometimes put it upon ourselves. Sometimes we say, well, I really should have known better. I should have seen that one coming, or maybe I should have thought this subject through for myself a little bit more before I went out to look for someone. So that's one of the first things that I would say, is that we're the most susceptible, I would say, to teachings or teachers that are not entirely suitable for us, when we have a strong impulse and we have this strong desire to satisfy that impulse, but we don't know how to do it ourselves, or we're not sure what will do it. So then we start looking outside of ourselves. And sometimes when we are either hurting or extremely curious about something, or really want an answer, we go for the first or second or brightest thing that we see in our path. And then sometimes we are more susceptible to not getting the result that we had hoped for.
I totally agree with that. That some of the people that, I don't want to say this because I'm a name caller. Some people that I've seen where they just want to go up and hug this person. There's lines and lines of them, of people that will do this. And I'm like, oh, wow, we're just here to do this journey and help people. And sometimes those are the people that I'm really cautious about. You know what I mean by that, Pepper? If I have a bunch of people lining up that want my hug, I'll send you my love and do my teaching, but don't put me on a pedestal. I'm just here to do my job like the rest of us.
Well, that's perfect, and that you said that. And on my, I actually made an extensive list here that I knew we would never get to in 1 hour of being together. So I kind of thought I'd see which of these came up, or put up my top list. And one of them is definitely to avoid, if possible, teachers who either allow themselves to be placed upon pedestals or encourage some kind of, I'll call it adoration, if we encourage that in some way. So here in the West, we're not so susceptible to what I would call guru worship. But we are susceptible to other ways of putting people on pedestal, people who are extremely successful, people who have very large followings. There's lots of different reasons for that. But if we do have real devotion for someone or real respect for someone, it needs to be something that is earned, and earned from us and earned from others, and not given automatically. So I would definitely put that one on my top 10 of things to just watch out for them. Watch how other people interact with certain people, and see, can you imagine yourself interacting in the same way? Would you want that place? Right.
No, I understand that. Hey, we have to take a break, a quick break. Boy, we've had some issues today. But we'll be right back with more Pepper Lewis and the Silver-Gaia Academy.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna...
Pepper Lewis joins Dr. Brie Gibbs and the Silver-Gaia Academy on the second Monday of each month at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. As we walk each day on this planet, have you ever thought, how are we responsible for the mother of the earth, Gaia? We need balance between earth and all dimensions. Gaia looks to us to accomplish this work we are all here to do. Tune in as Brie and Pepper share this wisdom. Will you rise to the occasion?
Brand consultant Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help you take control of your future and maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're an individual trying to reinvent yourself and launch a new venture, or you're an executive trying to reposition your company to modernize your sales and marketing programs, Jen Morgan and the RAD Method empower you to play to your strengths and show up in the world as your most powerful brand. To learn more, go to jenmorgan.com. That's Jen with 2 N's, Morgan.com, or call 206-972-5366.
Tune in to the Angels and Answers Psychic Radio Show with clairvoyants Artie Hoffman and Sky Siegel every Thursday for a 2-hour show, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio. Artie and Sky deliver spiritual and motivational messages with passion and a sense of humor. Call in 800-930-2819 for live and on-air readings. Visit artiehoffman.com and skyofangels.com.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, and do it, and do it, let's live it up and do it, and do it, and do it, do it, do it, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, cause I got a feeling, that tonight's gonna be...
Welcome back, everyone. So, Pepper, over the years, you've had the great privilege to be exposed to fundamentally sound and time-tested gifts of teachers. Can you explain that to us?
Well, sometimes I like to tell people that in the same way that there are musicians who have been classically trained before they went off in whatever direction they were going, I have the privilege of having been classically trained by teachers who kept me grounded, kept my feet on the ground, kept me looking inside of my own being for the answers. Whenever I wanted to do, the blame game, they would bring me back to look at my own stuff, we could say. And so it has helped a lot to start that way. And also, when I was very young, I really explored a lot of different traditions, a lot of different religions, and I read about them, I studied them, I went to their places of worship if possible. And so I let myself be grounded in all of this, not rather than just one tradition. And I think that today that makes me just a little bit more open-minded, open-hearted, and welcoming of many of the things that we study. And it gives me also a good detector for when things don't look that way. If something doesn't smell right or look right, I have a pretty good idea of what's gone wrong or who's gone wrong or where they went down a rosy path, we could say. And so all of that has been of great help to me, and one of the reasons that I like to help other people when I can. Uh-huh.
No, I agree with that, because I've been taught by some wonderful teachers, and then I ran across some that were not so great for me. I like what you had written here, firsthand, that you've witnessed firsthand harm affected charismatic charlatans and undeveloped advisors and downright impostors. I ran across that also. How did you handle it?
Well, it hurts. It hurts when we do. We feel really taken advantage of when that happens. We feel really tricked. There's a few areas of life, like let's say we buy an item at the store and it doesn't last, or it breaks down faster than we had promised, and we get stuck with it, or we wasted our money. We get over that. But there's a few areas of life, including relationships and how we feel about our relation to spirit or the unknown, the great mystery, God, whatever we want to call it, that when something violates that, it hurts a lot. It can scar us. It can keep us from moving forward. It can keep us from trusting other people who deserve our trust. And so we really do want to be careful. And, none of us are exempt from that. I've had some bad experiences as well. Many years ago, on the advice of a few people who thought it was the greatest miracle in the world, and someone who was visiting a place in Malibu and had this miracle thing that was going to, propel you, eons forward in your progress somehow. And everyone that I knew was doing it, and it cost quite a bit of money as well. And what it ended up being was someone who was, in some terms, and I'll say an ex-Scientology person with a certain device that really did. They connected it to you with little electrodes and things, and it created little kinds of shocks. And so this person would ask me to recall different events that had happened in my life that either did not work out the way I wanted or had been really negative. So the idea was that these little shocks would sort of erase them from you, remove them from you in some way. You would re-experience them for less than a second, and the little shock would then remove the charge on it. So, in a weird and wacky world, it made sense at the time, and it sure sounded like a miracle. And like many of us, I had these really painful moments in my childhood that I really did want to remove if possible. Well, that's not at all what happened. And the whatever those little shocks were, I felt them. They hurt. I felt them deeply. The session lasted about 2 hours. I was very young. I was not smart enough to disconnect myself and say, I don't want to do this anymore. And by the time I got home, a few hours later, I was ill. I was disoriented, so many different things. And I had these strange flu-like symptoms. And it really took me about 2 weeks to kind of forget the experience and think about all the reasons why I had thought that this miracle thing was going to work. And it was a great lesson, right? It was a really great lesson in really paying attention and thinking that progress is sometimes slow and steady and at a pace that makes sense to us, and that these miracles don't necessarily work.
Well, I agree with that, Pepper, because if it's a shortcut, this is how I say it, if it's a shortcut in learning our experiences and growing, is too good to be true.
Yes. It is too good to be true.
I had somebody come to me and willing to pay me a lot of money, and they said, can you heal me all at once? Everything that happened in my past life and in this life? No. You have to work on it. There's things that we can do, we can help guide, but we can't heal all that in you.
That's right.
At one setting, and that can be done it can't be done with you. It can't be done with me. We have to work on it. And that's what I'm finding out a lot. And my area, people are giving this understanding that if they pay $7,000, they're going to get all this done at one time. And that's sad.
Well, that's one of our maladies here in the West, is that we are a consumer culture, and
Right.
we are accustomed to, if you pay a little, you get a little. If you pay a lot, you get a lot. And if you pay a lot more, you get, the whole, everything that goes on that A list. And even so, we apply that to our personal growth as well. And that's something that we can't always buy our way into, or not at all. I do want to say, while we're talking about some of these not good experiences, that I have been to a few places and a few people. I have not had these experiences myself, but I have witnessed some pretty amazing miracles from people that are unexpected, people who you would not pick out of a crowd, people who would not want to be in the limelight, people who do not want to be compensated in that way. I have seen some true healings that are miraculous in their own way. And
Very true.
Spirit, or the great mystery, works through us. It works through nature. Things that are miracles can be, if they can't be explained, they can be expressed through nature.
Correct.
And through us as individuals, as part of nature. So there are some gifted individuals with great abilities, and so I want to make sure in this discussion that we don't knock everyone, because as I said, I have seen some great miracles as well. And maybe the difference is some of those things to look for as well. These individuals, they did not even want to give out their names. They did not want to be on anyone's list. If you made your way to them and somehow found them, then that, I suppose, was meant to be. But they were not asking for any kind of attention at all.
Mm-hmm. That's really true. And those are the people I respect and really love and adore. I've ran across a few that I just wrote a letter to, and it was amazing, the experiences that I had with them. And they said, well, I don't have all this training. I said, it doesn't matter. It's what you have in you that I'm looking for. Do you get what I mean by that?
Sure, absolutely. And I think that we all would like to find those individuals. And those individuals are also, they're not necessarily teachers. So we also want to watch out for that. There's people who are very, very gifted at doing what they do. And so then we go to them and say, wow, can you teach me how to do that? Can you teach me how to be like that? And not everyone is a teacher. Some people don't even know how they do what they do. And
Right.
That's important to recognize as well, is not to push someone into teaching, not to raise them into that capacity, especially if they don't really want to.
Right. No, I agree with that. What about the ones that really want to learn and they're looking for the right teacher? How would you explain for them to look for one?
Well, that's perfect, actually. One of the things that I do is I think about how I learn. Do I learn by example? Am I the kind of person who learns by someone who gives great projects? Do I read their book and need a workbook to work at? Am I the kind of person that likes a 28-day program? Do I need personal access to that teacher, or is their book and a seminar once a year enough for me? So I think about what kind of person I am and look for a teacher that will support that. And I allow myself to be surprised as well, because I have been. I've had people recommend teachers to me, and I say, oh, no, that's not for me. Thank you, but no. And then sometimes, I'll look into it, later and find out, well, maybe they knew what they were talking about. So it has to be right for us as well. I look for teachings that will help me to grow, to discover within myself that ability, whether it's to be humble or to advance in some way. I'm a learning person, so I really want to learn not something new. I want to learn more about myself, and I want to find things about life that I can deepen, where I can deepen the experience of life itself. And so that's what works for me. But in telling someone else what to look for, I would suggest that. And I would also suggest looking, is it the messenger or the message that is more important to you, or which way people are aligned as well. There are people with great messages and teachings, and I love some of their material, and then when I've met them in person, I have not been impressed. And there are people that have kind of mediocre books or websites, and then I've met them in person and just found out how really genuine and caring they were. So it's an investigative process.
And you're absolutely right on that. Absolutely right. We have to investigate who we're going to learn from, what we want to do, how we want to do it, and even things in our own lives. That a book that I've read and worked on me with just a book. I didn't always have to go to a teacher. I just read the book, and that book was a teacher. And Pepper, I read your book, so I'm going, they were teaching for me. And sometimes that's all you have to do. So we're going to have to take another quick break, and we're back with more of Pepper Lewis and myself.
You're reminding me of a little saying or something. What is it? It goes something like, been there, done that, got the T-shirt or something.
All right, Pepper, hang on. We're going to take a quick break.
Try your best, but you don't succeed. When you get what you want, but not what you need.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine. Many of us have been overwhelmed when we discover how powerful we truly are. We really can change things. When we set an intention and move in a direction, we uncover the blocks, the fear, and the agreements that until now we have believed would keep us safe and preserve the status quo. What if today you allow that power, allow that moment, and that overwhelm? Just sit with it as long as you can. Need help? Visit lesliefontaine.com and let's talk about unfolding all that you want to be, do, and have. You'll find sessions, classes, and audio products to help remove the blocks and move you into your potential. And listen to my show, Sheer Alchemy, on Transformation Talk Radio, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days, because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com. You can now join Dr. Brie Gibbs and the Silver-Gaia Academy for an all-new inspirational and educational show, the second and fourth Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Join Brie and master teachers on a journey to Gaia. We're always evolving as individuals and the planet. The Silver-Gaia Academy is here to help guide and teach you how to raise your spiritual vibration. Will you rise to the occasion?
Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers, with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com. Get into it for 2016. Do you want more prosperity, clarity, energy, and balance in your life? Join Lynn Brown now for one of her amazing workshops, each focusing on a key part of living your best life. For more information and to register for one of these amazing workshops, visit lynnbrownevent.com. That's LynnBrownEvent.com. And get into it this 2016 with Lynn Brown.
Welcome back, everyone. So, Pepper, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I've been a multidimensional traveler, and all of a sudden, I couldn't travel no more. And I felt these cords coming up from Gaia that came into the soles of my feet. And they're like the size of a 50-cent piece is what I want to say. I'm actually making a size with my finger right now. It's a 50-cent piece. And it's the most wonderful feeling I've ever had in my life. That I'm not leaving. My consciousness is not leaving anymore. I'm finally grounded at 57. When I was taught in meditation and talking with the guy, and I was going, why did this have to happen? And they said, she told me she was the foundation. And I've known that, but this time they had to make such an impact on me for this new transition that we're all going through. So I was like, I'm going to take that away from you. I'm going to ground you so you can finally feel what we feel like. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Well, I think, sometimes we ask to be grounded. Sometimes we feel a little jittery about something and uncomfortable. And so in that way, we're asking to be more grounded, get our feet on the ground. Sometimes we eat something or sit for a moment or meditate to be grounded. And so we're asking for it in that case. Other times when we are arranged as you are, you call yourself a multi-dimensional traveler, that means that you have felt free to leave the body, go forward to have other experiences that are lighter than what we think of in our everyday 3D consciousness. Well, it's been my experience and my physical experience as well that when we do that too much, too often, or we're not grounded, there is a force or an energy that will really pull us, force us back into our body and really open our eyes and say, our life is here, like it or not, 3D, open your eyes. This is the world that we are living in, and we can have those moments of transcendence, and you can call it, spiritual traveling, out-of-body experiences, interdimensional travel. They are transcendent experiences, moments that simply transcend our everyday 3D.
Right.
But more than ever now, and you're not the first person I've heard say that, we are being pulled into this consciousness. Open our eyes, look around. This is our life. This is the world that we have created or contributed to creating, and this is where we need to be right now. And sometimes we get it right away, and we say, okay, I see you being really okay about that. And I've talked to some people that are not okay about it. They feel like they've had their wings clipped, their awareness, knocked out of them. They feel like they've been knocked down a few pegs, like they've done something wrong. And I can say for myself that a few years ago when I was flying high, that's a good way to put it as well, all of a sudden, it actually didn't quite happen all of a sudden with me. I felt my gifts or abilities diminishing a little at a time. I could see a little bit less into the future than I could at one time. I could see, I just didn't have that feeling, or the awareness that I did have. It took longer to come to me, longer to settle into something. Clairaudience, clairsentience, all those things that I had been used to having as a child started to diminish little by little by little. But it was like a volume that continually went down until I felt eventually like someone who was blind, deaf, dumb, everything. I felt as if every door had been closed to me. And I also felt as if I had done something wrong, offended some of the angels up there or something. And it really now, of course, in hindsight, had nothing to do with that as well. I needed to be here in my body, in my life, looking after things that I had put off I could say for too long, or we come back to do these things at the right time. And so for a long time, these spiritual gifts, whatever we'd like to call them, they kind of disappeared for a while and really only began to come back about a year and a half ago or so.
Right. I know about a year and a half ago, I started going through these transitions, one right after the other. And I was like, oh, what is going on? But I have to tell you this. I was like, I don't want to say it. All of a sudden I just realized I wasn't traveling. I'm not traveling. And I felt so comfortable. It was like, wow. So it was like, then I was just laying there and I was meditating. And other times I've sat outside underneath the tree and did different things, right? I'm going, I like this feeling. This is cool. But what I found out through meditation, my traveling was my comfort zone to escape the third dimensional world.
Well, that's very, very well put, because it is in some way, we have to say that it is an escape of one kind. We can escape because we're bored, or we can escape because it's much more interesting to be somewhere where we feel lighter and not tied to our life or our responsibilities or things like that as well. But it is a form of escape, and I'm also glad that you mentioned meditation, which is one of the easiest and fastest ways to get grounded and also to see things as they are and to be here, and not to tune out, but really to look at life in a way that makes sense.
Right. Because sometimes it's that 1 minute or 2 minutes. It's just grounding and being quiet and being in that meditative state can help. Sometimes it goes longer. It depends on what's right for the person. I just know I'm comfortable being in my body now. And I've met other people that are feeling the same way. So do you see that as being a trend, something that is going to spread for many more people? Yes, I do. I really do. And that's why we tag this with the journey to Gaia, because I think that's going to happen a lot, that we're all going to have to be we have our consciousness, right, in our physical body, where we need to be firmly planted on Gaia right now. One, she's needing us. Two, we need her. We're building a new foundation. We're calling this a new earth. There has to be a foundation.
And so so how do you see the difference of being grounded in Gaia now, today, to when we made reference to that a few years ago?
Oh, a very large difference for me. Very large difference. For me, I'm firmly planted. That's the only way I can really explain it for me. A few years ago, no. It's a whole different way now.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you said that as well. So this is our time on the earth. We have our lifespan to see the earth as it is, to contribute to it, to offer it to future generations, to work with the earth's resources, to help restore them if we can, to help sustain them if we can. And I think that the only way that we can do that is really, as you say, with feet on the ground. Right.
I know one thing. We just got done with Thanksgiving, and I was sitting there. I was in the kitchen, and I was cooking dinner, right? And I was going, what are we doing to thank Gaia, to Mother Earth? What are we doing? And I actually took a crystal out of my collection and put it back into the earth. And that was my gift to her. And I think it's really important, people that thank the Mother Earth for the things that we have and give back to her also, because when you take, you have to give back. How do you feel about that, Pepper?
Well, I think really that's the only way that we can be. It takes a while to realize that. I think one of the reasons that we take without giving is that we feel separate. We feel separate from each other. We feel separate from the earth. We buy things, we consume things that come in created by us for us.
Right.
And so we don't see that interconnectedness. We don't see that we are part of each other. We don't see that when we stand next to each other, these invisible fields of energy have already merged us together.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't feel necessarily how far the roots of a tree spread out underneath the earth, and that we are walking on them or interacting with them. So we've just come far along in this path that humanity has taken, and sometimes our orbit takes us far away from the sun before it starts to bring us back. And I would like to think that we are on our way back, and the experience that we see around the earth right now will not immediately echo that. Just because we say, oh, now I want to be connected to the earth, I think our hearts can instantly connect that way. But now we have to walk that path and talk that path and feel it and reconnect those lines. And maybe that's what this next decade or so can do for us. I think we can do it by choice. I think it can be forced upon us if we start to see lack around us, or things missing, or our climate or our earth or different things really start to seriously change. Then I think we get it. And our human nature is to be a little bit lazy, to wait a little bit too long, to wait for the stronger message, to wait for someone else to do it first.
And you're absolutely,
it's just human nature.
Right. You're absolutely right. We need to take a quick break, and we're going to talk more about this when we come back.
Tune in to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio to harness your connection with the universe to effect change for optimal success and happiness. Named one of the country's top psychics, Eve now brings her insights and gifts to this weekly hit call-in show, joined by visionaries, leaders, and gifted others, but mostly you. Jot it down. Thursdays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Tune in to Dynamics of Diversity Radio, scripting the new narrative for immigration with leading experts Kripa Upadhyaya and Steve Tanijo on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This show will remove the noise that often accompanies discussions on this topic and share a new perspective on the dynamics of immigration and diversity, ever reminding us that together we are all at the core of innovation, excellence, and positive change. Visit OrbitLawPLLC.com for upcoming topics.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Suzanne Evans. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
Pepper Lewis joins Dr. Brie Gibbs and the Silver-Gaia Academy on the second Monday of each month at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. As we walk each day on this planet, have you ever thought, how are we responsible for the Mother of the Earth, Gaia? We need balance between Earth and all dimensions. Gaia looks to us to accomplish this work we are all here to do. Tune in as Brie and Pepper share this wisdom. Will you rise to the occasion?
In retirement, will you outlive your money? It's a common question for people approaching retirement, but it doesn't need to weigh on you. Ask Ameriprise financial advisor Jeff Packman about the new Confident Retirement Approach. You and Jeff can break down retirement planning step by step to get the real answers you need. In fact, 93% of clients who have had the Confident Retirement Approach conversation feel more confident about their retirement. Call Jeff Packman, financial advisor, at 425-453-0272 for your Confident Retirement conversation today. Office is located at 601 108th Avenue Northeast, Suite 1800, Bellevue, Washington, 98004. Percentage based on Ameriprise Financial Confident Retirement Client Survey as of December 2013. The Confident Retirement Approach is not a guarantee of future financial results. Investment advisory products and services are made available through Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated. A registered investment advisor, Ameriprise Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC.
So, Pepper, during the break, I was telling you how this is the first time I've ever felt grounded to this point. But I've talked to other people that are getting this grounding feeling and they're not understanding the cores that are coming up from Mother Earth. And I kind of look at it as a tree branch, right? That the roots from the trees are coming up. How can we help others with this?
Well, the first thing is that I think that we need to want to be grounded. And even though it seems like the most natural thing to want to do, when we've had experiences that allow us the freedom not to be, it's easy to go there. It's almost like if someone gives you a free pass to go somewhere else, well, it's free. Of course I'll go. And so first of all, we need to just want to be here. In spite of what's happening around us or in our life or around the world, we want to be here on the planet at this time and seeing things as they are. Because it's only when we see things as they are that we can begin to effect a change within ourselves or on the planet. So for those of us who do want to help the earth, help Gaia, to do it, we need to be as Gaia, be the earth, be firm upon the earth, be the elements of the earth, be the kingdoms of the earth, and relate to the earth, relate to Gaia on her own level. So, to help the earth is really to embody the earth elements literally, and to be here. So choosing that grounded nature, and it is really, really great when we do choose it. If we forget how to do that, being almost anywhere in nature will bring us back to that almost immediately. The sound of running water, a river, a stream, a pond, a pool, almost anything to do with water, connected and deep breathing using the elements of air. Grounding our feet upon the earth uses the elements of the earth. A candle, a flame, fire, anything like that uses the element of fire to become grounded, and anything to do with ritual or meditation or prayer, all of those things uses spirit also to become grounded rather than going anywhere else. So those are a first few suggestions that we can use. And, where we can become unplugged for just a little while from the technology world, from just for a little while, where I know we're so tuned into that right now, TV, radio, computers, our smartphones, everything else. But unplugging from that for a little while is also very grounded, although surprising. I almost hate to admit it, but I've seen a few apps that are a little grounding as well. I almost hate to admit that, but it is true.
Oh, that's too funny. You're going to find apps on your phone for grounding now.
I almost didn't want to say that, but I've got to stay honest here.
Yes, we do. That's our true authentic self, Pepper, but that's too great. I love it. So, we don't have much time left, but the one thing I want to talk about is the responsibility as teachers that you and I have to those that are listening to us right now. A lot of people think that once they come in and they pay for a workshop or listen to a radio show, we're just done. That's not how it works. How do you feel about that? Because I know with me, my heart's always with them, or my thoughts are with them, and hoping that they will take my information and use it in the highest of intent. and the responsibility that I have as a teacher?
Well, I feel that my responsibility lies in the morals and in the integrity and in the ethics that I carry, because I don't always know, for instance, who is reading my book or where, in what way they applied some of that. But I do believe that the intention that I had in writing it and creating it and in publishing it and offering it still holds true. I'm like you, I suppose. I have that kind of mother thing going on. So my kids are all grown up and on their way in the world, and yet I still am their mother. That doesn't mean I relate to them as if they were 8, but I am available to them in the role of a mother. And so I feel that same way about anything that I have offered in terms of teaching that way. I still hold myself in that role and the way that I offer it, and I try to uphold the teachings in my own life, to walk my talk where I can. Sometimes I want to say this last thing about some of the teachers that were in our earlier subject that may or may not be good. Someone once said to me, and they put it just this way: if someone in their teachings, if when they say we, they don't mean everyone, if the story they tell doesn't inspire you to act for the common good, and if they don't speak when in some way unity is disrupted, that they're not a true teacher.
Correct.
And so that holds true for me as well. Right. And so maybe that helps kind of tie everything together as well. We make errors, we take missteps, we change our mind, we move in different directions, we learn new things that overwrite what we believed was true before, and we keep moving, and it is our responsibility to share that with others when we can.
Right. That's so true, Pepper. It's just so true what you just said. Because the harmful effects it can have on people if we're not doing it in the light and bringing out the true, authentic selves of who we are and being grounded and just everything that we talked about today, because we're coming to that point. We're going to close here pretty soon. I was sitting there listening to you and going, wait a minute, all the things that she's saying is what some of us have been talking about, and from different areas of the country, right? And why aren't they getting it? Why aren't they doing this or that, right? And it has to be a collective of people that are reaching out together to work together to make sure that people are standing in their truth. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes, absolutely. And I think we are getting it. We are getting it. It's almost like a small sailboat versus a large aircraft carrier. So some of it just turns around. They don't just turn around on a dime. It takes a while with some of these things, and we're each inspired in our own way. But really, the only way we're going to be inspired is to be here. And to look for those inspirational teachers or teachings, or decide that we now want to be moved and inspired, heartfelt, and to do that. It is our choice as well, and our responsibility how we respond to our own needs or the needs of the planet as well. Sometimes it's easier to look away. And we don't have to look in difficult areas always, but where we can make a difference, whether it's in our child's school or in our own garden or in the parking lot, or when someone drops something, or by holding a door open for someone, anything that we can do, it all really, really makes a difference, all of it.
It does. It really does. The other thing is, you guys, the one thing I want to say is right now people are cutting trees down, right? It's fall. They bleed like we do. The sap is their blood. Take care of them. Let them know what you're going to do. Talk to trees. I'm a big tree talker. Let them know. But you know what, Pepper, this has been a great show. you're going to be on again on the second Monday of next month, and we're going to finish this as a 2-part series. I'm sure we could go on forever, but I want to thank you for joining me today for the first show of the Silver Gaia Academy, and I will be talking to you soon.
It's been great, Brie. It's been really, really great, and yes, let's do it again very soon.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today on the Silver Gaia Academy, the Journey to Gaia, and we'll see you on the 4th Monday of this month or next month. Have a great.
You've been listening to the Silver Gaia Academy, the Journey to Gaia with Dr. Brie Gibbs. Teachings that reach far beyond our Earth dimension and raise the spiritual vibration of the planet. Tune in live every 2nd and 4th Monday to Brie and master teachers who have dedicated their lives to these teachings. For more information about the Silver Gaia Academy and Brie Gibbs, visit silver-gaia.net. Pepper Lewis joins Dr. Brie Gibbs and the Silver Gaia Academy on the 2nd Monday of each month at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. As we walk each day on this planet, have you ever thought, how are we responsible for the Mother of the Earth, Gaia? We need balance between Earth and all dimensions. Gaia looks to us to accomplish this work we are all here to do. Tune in as Brie and Pepper share this wisdom. Will you rise to the occasion?
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.